So this is a very basic and simple example of how to write a test case. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel, Mr. and Mrs. Gandhi. Today I'm going to share you about how to write effective test cases for any of the website or any of the functionality. So initially we just need to take care of few things like what is the project name, module name created by. Actually, these are the optional things. Every organization has their own type of template, so it depends on their level. Some organization have the same level of three, same level five, so they have their own set of template for the test case. But this is something very basic one. I'm just telling you the thing we have to need to take care of when we writing the test case, and if someone is asking in any of the interview, then you should write in that way. Or sometimes they would ask you to write some test cases and you need to send them to the interviewer to check. They are going to check it out whether you are effective writer or not. So in that case, I would say that you need to prefer this approach. This definitely will going to consider you. Anyway, right of test case is something like that. We just need to, if any non-technical person or any person going to open your test case, then able to identify for which project it is and which kind of module for this test case, this particular test case, and how much scenario has been covered. So my approach would be like that only. If anyone is going to open your test case and able to understand what is actually going on. So basically, we just started to highlight this with the green color, and here we can suppose we are just writing some functionality of login Facebook, so we can write a project name something like that, Facebook, or uh, or you can take any of your project name as per the company norms and module, like you are writing test case for the login module. And whenever you are trying to create, like it is created by me, so I'm just writing my name and each date, like today is 8th of August, so I'm writing this and review by, because every test case has been reviewed by some of the peer of management and some test engineer or senior hierarchy. So we can write their name like XYZ, or would be the reviewer and reviewer date. Then when they're going to be review, their review task has been different. Okay, so this is the basic thing we just write above there. Now we can start the test case in this line number 8. So first one is we just write the test scenario. Oh, okay, so I'm just making the test scenario ID. Now test scenario description. Okay, let me little expand this case ID, then test case description, test steps. Here we can write the preconditions, then we can write the test data, and we put the post conditions, results, actual results, status, executed by, executed date, and comments, if any. Okay. So these are the basic thing we need to cover in our test case. So first of all, we need to create the test Scenario ID. Test scenario ID. We just started with PS01. Recognize this is the scenario ID. Then test scenario description. Like we are actually verifying that functionality of login page. So we are just going to write like this to verify the functionalities of Facebook. Okay. At last we do the formatting. Then we write the test case ID. Okay, then we write the test description like enter valid username and valid password. Similarly, we just create a if invalid username and valid password. Enter valid username and, and invalid password. Other is enter invalid username and invalid password. So these are the four generic test cases I've created for the login page. This could be possibilities for the login page. Okay, we can merge it this thing or this is the functional thing, and you can add the look and feel issues also. When you're going to log in, buttons are appropriate, so we can create a different scenario for look and feel thing. The button is appropriate, color are fine, whatever you see in SRS, you can compare it and you can write test cases as per your requirement. So this is the basic thing I'm just telling you. I'm just merging this test scenario description with the test case ID so that we can identify for this particular test scenario we have these four functional test cases. Then we need to going to write the test steps. We just need to in one by one what we have to do. We have to enter the valid username. Then what would be the next step? Next step would be need to enter the valid password. And what the next step we're going to perform, we need to click the login button. So these are the test steps. Whatever we are performing to corresponding to the test case description, we need to mention it over there so that if you are writing a test case, if another tester is going to test it out, so he or she able to identify what the test step he need to follow. So this is a right and effective way to write the test cases because in a big organization it's not possible that if you are writing test case you are only executing this. One person is writing the test case then going for a review, and some other person is going to execute the test case so that if something is missing it is easily get captured. So we should have to write test case in a that way that other person or non technical person is able to understand what is actually written over there and able to execute the test case without taking help from the person who actually write the test case. Here we just need to what are the test steps to corresponding execute this particular test case. And what would the precondition? Precondition means what we need to execute this particular test case. For example, if I need to enter this username and password, so what we need? We need the valid URL, right? Or and the test data. Test data means we should have that username and password. Okay, that test data we should available with us. Then only we can able to execute the test case. Okay, so we just need to write it over there. And what would the test data? Test data means what is the basic requirement? Like we need the username. So username we need to write it over there. Username like if I'm opening Gmail ID with my or something like that. this is my Gmail ID. I'm just write it over there, and another test data like I have fixed a password. For example, I have set the password like this on my Facebook account page. So I should write it over there so that the person can identify what is the username and password and able to execute a test case. Okay, so it is visible now, or we can better segregate. We can place the space over there and we can expand this. Then the post condition after when we after entering the username password, the valid URL precondition are there and test data you have entered there. Then what would be the result? What would be the outcome of that post condition? So what would happen if these valid username and password entered to the login page? The user should able to see home page. Okay, so this is the post condition which is expected when user valid username and valid password has been entered. So user should be at home page, and this is expected actually. Post condition expectation are another similar thing, but we have to write what is the post condition. The person should land up at that particular page, and this is expected. We are expecting that successful login. And the actual result, this is our expectation, and actual result we filled when we actually executing the particular test case. So here we can see whatever it is showing, like if it is not showing the successful login, we just write it there not successful login, or whatever our observation we have, we just put it over there. Actually we are expecting this, and then this is actually what the website is showing. And then we put the status. What would be the status? If it is matching, expected and actual are matching, then we can write it pass, and if it is not matching, we are actually marking a fail. There are 4 or 5 type of status would be: and not tested, invalid, not applicable. So these are invalid test cases are those which has written, but it is not valid anymore in our website, or this functionality has not been featured by developers. So we can mark it as invalid as per the discussions, or as per your understanding. Not tested means if it is some feature, if there are some features, some test cases we are not able to test, or maybe it going to release in the next cycle, so we can mark it as not tested. The simple English language we can understand what's going on. So as per the situation we can mark the status. Then in executed by it, there should be my name. When I'm going to execute this particular test case, we should write my name and date, and mention the comment if I have any. Similarly, we just write the test case for the invalid username and valid password. So first we need to enter invalid username. Second should be enter valid password, and third should be click on the login button. Okay. Again, the precondition would be same. However, we need to take the valid URL and test data. But in the username test data, we just need to take the invalid username, which is not exist for the particular website. Like I have taken ABC something like that. So it is not valid one. Once we enter the invalid username password, the respective post condition will show like invalid username and password, something like that. Whatever the validation developer fix in the website, this kind of validation should appear, and user should not able to log in. Okay, so this is how we just need to write the test case. And formatting is very important. If you're writing some test case for the internal perspectives, please take care of the formatting, because this is something which is actually by test manager and senior QA. They actually see that the what kind of formatting you have. There should be in a same synchronized formatting form, and it data should be visible. So we can better you can use wrap text and word center. if it is required, and this is how we just need to write the test case. Similarly, for valid username and valid password, we just take the valid username, but password should be invalid. Same type of data, we just need to cover it over there and write the test case like this only. So this is a very basic and simple example of how to write a test case. If you want to know anything, if I miss anything, if you want to know anything more about it, please comment in the section and let me know that I need to cover it up. Thank you.